If you've been a fan of the 1893 World's Fair, this might change your opinion just a little bit on how dope it was. Let's talk about the 77 flavors. Let's get it.
Hello.
Yeah.
And welcome back to another episode of 77 Flavors of Chicago. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We are wrapping up the World's Fair. We had a mid-episode there that was for Juneteenth, a special one, but this is we're wrapping up the series that we started on the World's Fair. But every week we dive into a piece of Chicago history and beyond, I will say. That's a little Easter egg for the future.
Yeah.
What foreshadowing? There it is.
There you go.
If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're so happy you're back. Yeah, that's all I got for the intro.
Okay.
If you are new here or if you're old here and you don't follow us on socials, make sure you follow us everywhere at 77 Flavors CHI Shy for Chicago. And we post a lot of really cool content from the podcast, from all over the neighborhoods. There's some fun things in there if you want to find cool things to do around the city. Also, it's an array of a variety of content.
Yeah.
And if you are also not subscribed to our Substack, you can do so through the website, or you can go directly on Substack and subscribe to us there. Everything is linked in the show notes, which that is what you get. So the show notes are what I send out weekly, but if you don't want to go and find them, they will come to your inbox every week. So
Something else I'll add is that the Apple Podcast experience has gotten better.
yeah, you can watch us on video now.
Yeah, you can watch the video of us, which is really cool. And it's super simple. If you ain't got to do nothing different. Like
nothing.
Just all you got to do is like load up your Apple Podcast like you normally do, and then I think it'll start playing video.
I believe so.
And then you have the option, if you said I ain't trying to look at them, you can just press the little button and say go back to audio.
Lock your phone.
No, I think if you like, I think it still play. I don't know. but either way, you could just you could swap it, and it might be vice versa. But yeah, that's pretty fun. It took us a little while to get the subscription thing, like to have that feature added. Apple made it kind of tough. If you don't got nobody that's doing this for you, this could be it could be challenging.
It's easier if you're part of a larger network because they have like direct
people that's doing it
and stuff like that. So it's just me and Dario.
Yeah, right. Figuring it out. Because we done figured literally everything out about this podcast.
Yeah.
Like from publishing it to editing.
If anyone wants to buy this podcast.
No,
I'm just
no. We got. If you want to be a sponsor, that's different.
There it is.
You ain't buying shit around here.
We'll probably be hiring someone soon, an editor, hopefully.
Yeah, because it's summertime. Yeah. Summertime just kick off, and it just ain't no looking back until October.
I know.
Like looking back.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And it's getting busy. There's a lot going on in the city. Again, Substack is, I don't include this in the show notes, but the Substack does have like things to do around the city. And then if I have any like discount codes or anything like that for events and like shows and stuff, I'll put those in the Substack, but I will not put them in the show notes per se. So that's another
Incentive.
reason for you to sign up for that.
Yeah.
But one thing that we got to preview this week that is for next season is Lyric Opera's fall, 2026-2027 season, which I can't believe we're already there.
Right.
Like, I feel like we just watched the 25-26 preview.
Yeah.
Obviously, we went through the whole season, but it's kind of crazy how quickly.
Man, it was crazy.
Like October through May.
Yeah, what's crazy is seeing, like, learning what they do on the off season. They really don't have no off season. Like internally, they moving. You know what surprised me is when dude said that in the summer they go 6 to 8 weeks where they will dry run the show with no actors,
right?
Just the set.
It's a tech run,
and they just move in the set just to get the rhythm down of for the stage hands and all the directors and everything.
Light cues and everything.
To me, it was mind blowing because, like, bro, like they are literally just doing it with. How do you do that with no people? Doing it with people is hard.
Right.
Doing it with no people and just knowing, all right, we got to, this is how we do. But I figure, you got to figure out how this stuff works
Yeah.
at some point. But like,
Yeah.
I did not know. For some
It,
reason,
it
just
was really cool to
surprised
see,
me.
and we got to go on stage. We got to. It was just Dario threw some washers at the wall.
Hey,
If you want to see that video, it'll be up on our Instagram this week.
I
And
almost
you
made that.
almost
It
made
hit, it hit the hole.
Yeah, apparently the stagehands, while the show is going in the back, they play this game where they throw washers at the wall, and it's like, I don't know, a 20-foot ceiling. It's more.
That's,
It's on it's technically the second floor.
Yeah.
So the second floor of the ceiling,
yeah.
there's a hole in the wall, and if you make
The
the
little
washer
washer
in the
yeah.
hole, you got a piece of tape with your name on it put up on the wall. And there's only 3 pieces of tape up there. Dario got really close.
So y'all, it hit the edge of the hole.
Yeah.
Like I was like centimeters off from getting my name up there. I don't know if they would have put my name up there, but we would have had it on video.
Yeah.
That I was
video proof.
and that was my last throw
Yeah.
too. Oh my god.
But there's actually a ton of stuff that Lyric does throughout the summer too in the neighborhoods. There's like Lyric in the Park. They do a show in Millennium Park in a few weeks, I think. Kind of like another preview of their Ryan Opera Center, which is their like up and coming performers. And I don't know, we also do have a code that they give us at the beginning of the season that we'll share. And I think it gives you 10% off any ticket you want, which also a hot tip. If you buy tickets same day, you can get them for pretty cheap. Like you can find tickets for like $30.
Yeah, if you can get them. Yeah. You know what I mean? If they still there. Right.
Still there.
If they still there, you
But
get them.
that was really cool. We also went to JB Pritzker had a happy hour for Pride, and that day was actually insane. We started out the day in Hillside, interviewing the mayor of Hillside, which that is a series coming soon. That's our next series. We're gonna be
the Beyond part she tried to tell y'all about.
We're gonna be in Oak Park and beyond. So it's Oak Park and the neighboring villages. So that's coming soon. We interviewed the mayor of Hillside, which he is very cool guy.
Dope, dude.
Oh my God. I can't wait for you to experience that. There's so much in that area that I feel like we never even think about because Chicago is so rich in history, but those surrounding towns played a huge part.
Huge part.
I mean, obviously they have their own history, but like
Visited Capone's.
I mean, it was just very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's really cool is that the more you venture out, you realize how much these other neighborhoods go hand in hand with Chicago.
Yeah.
A lot of ties to it. A lot of times it was an escape from Chicago, whether good or bad.
Right.
Right. They had to escape from it, and they went to these towns and they made the town. You know what I mean? Families lived there and made the towns what they were. So.
You know what I think is really interesting. We didn't talk about it last week, but the week before we went to a church with Landmarks Illinois was having a programming at a church that recently was given landmark status, and they always talk about this idea of like history is only interesting because people love a place, right? Like you preserve places that mean something to people. At the end of the day, it could be some people might think it's beautiful, some people might think it's ugly, but it's like what matters to people, right? And I think when we're being in Chicago, you kind of like it's such a cool place of history for so many people. You know what I mean? Like it's like we can all collectively agree that architecture in Chicago is gorgeous, right? But like when you go to Hillside and you visit, like their town hall was a seminary, right? Like just because it's further out or like not as much in the mainstream, like these stories still matter to so many people. It's just like on a smaller scale because like the towns were like 6,000 people or 7,000 people or 20,000 people. Like where I went to school, Illinois State, it was the largest population was on campus, which was 20,000 students. Yeah. And like the town was so small, but there was also just a ton of history.
Yeah. I mean, what's really cool for us is that we get to like expand our knowledge.
Exactly.
Find these, if it lends to it, the tie to Chicago. If not, that's fine too. We just build on the knowledge and, the area too. You know what I mean? Like, cause we know this was native land. So figuring out what that was like, it's just really cool to be, kind of going down this path now.
Right.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
It was really fun. So yeah, that same day we interviewed the mayor of Hillside, and then Daria was on a panel with the city clerk
Yeah.
and our friend Anna Deshawn, who's now joined CityCast, which is really cool. But she does queer news, and it was a panel about, again, listening to the audio archives of the city hall. What is it called again?
City Hall, Council Hall.
Yeah, the council. Yeah,
Council.
city council meetings from the 70s to 2012. And it was specifically about, because we're in June, it was for Pride. And that was another really cool conversation. And then we bopped over to JB Pritzker.
Bop, y'all. We
Down the street.
That what's crazy thing is like the Missionary Baptist Church wasn't this week, but we did a lot this week.
Yeah.
Like now that I think about it, at first I was like, what did we do? We did a lot. We bought a bunch of records.
Yeah, we bought a bunch.
We bought.
Also, shout out to Animal Records in Evanston.
Yes.
I don't think they know who. I know they don't know who we are, which is totally fine. But we love their record shop. They actually are just moving over to
a door down?
Next door, because they outgrew. But their prices are super fair. They have some really cool things. Like, I often look for Arabic records because they're so hard to find. And every time I've gone there, they've had at least one or two that I could grab. So, and the owner is super nice. Yeah. He waited until his kids went off to college, and his wife was like, "Okay, now you can fulfill your dream of owning a record shop."
He's successful.
I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff in there. He got a lot of stuff in there. Cool. He got a promotion going on. I don't know what the promotion is. Maybe you could put it in the show notes.
It's 50% off the basement or something like that.
Something like that. Because everything is $5 and below. So that's what it is. Everything is $5 and below in the basement. And he got a lot down there.
Oh my God.
So I'm sure he's trying to clear that out just so he can have more space for the other stuff. Yeah. So
we should go back there.
Yeah. Sure. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. You know what I mean?
But that's all I have. I'm kind of anxious to get into this one. Yeah. It's going to be a very interesting episode.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. So
we're here at Lyric Opera for a preview of their new season, and there's already so many cool shows happening. My favorite thing about Lyric is that not all of the shows are just classical lyric, but classical operas like you would expect to see. There's some really fun shows happening this year, and I can't wait for you to learn all about them. Okay, I'm here with Benjamin, who's part of the ensemble for next season. Tell me what show you're in.
I'm going to first be understudying in Don Giovanni. I'm going to be playing the Commendatore. And then after that, I'll be singing the roles of the High Priest in Herodiad. Ooh. And I'll also be singing the role of Trufaldin in Ariadne auf Naxos.
So do you have to speak Italian in order to sing in an Italian opera?
No, but it helps a lot.
Do you speak Italian?
I do speak Italian.
Okay, that's a cheat code, I feel like. That's amazing. So how long does it take you to prep for a show? I know we're just at we're announcing the season right now, but I'm just so what's the process? Where are you right now?
So right now I'm in the process of just getting the notes and the rhythms of my body, just trying to get the words going. But yeah, that's kind of where I am now. And then we're going to eventually move to staging, but not for a very long time. Yeah. Luckily with the Ryan Opera Center, we get a great, opportunity to work with the coaches often. We work with them, 2-3 times a week at least.
Oh, wow.
We can work on some of those, or we can work on our own arias, all those kind of things. But we definitely have the option most of the time to get a lot more work in as far as preparation of all the roles.
Sophronia, being from the South Side of Chicago, seeing that show for what it was and what it related to as a cultural piece to me personally is something I'm never going to forget, because they're never going to forget that. Those actors, they did a fantastic job. The whole stage and staff, everybody put that thing together. It felt like church. That's what Avery was saying. It felt like church. And honestly, I remember sitting there thinking, damn, I'm 79th and Paulina and 62nd and Campbell, here we are in Lyric Opera. And 2 years ago, I wouldn't even know what to do, or at an opera show. And now here we are watching some people that, I probably ran across, and that's from my neighborhood. So, man, that was one. But I would also say the Frida was crazy. Sick. That was crazy. It was good because we had been to Casa Azul in Mexico City. So, seeing the rendition and seeing this part of that story, because we saw her. That if anybody been to Casa Azul in Mexico City, they left that place just the way it was. And so to see her living again, I was like, man, that's crazy. Yeah, but man, those two. Ever wanted to see the Lyric Opera from the stage? This is it behind me in all its glory. 3,563 seats. Could you imagine being here and trying to perform? Another fun fact here is if you see these numbers right behind me, I don't know, come a little closer, come a little closer. Those numbers right there, that is how the people on stage know where they are, like distance-wise from the center. So the 2 and 2, you're 2 feet to the stage left. Over here, you're 2 feet to the stage right. Crazy, had no clue, but isn't this view beautiful? Y'all, so we talked about all the things of the World's Fair.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, World's Fair,
incredible.
We got a lot of things from it, a lot of new inventions, a lot of new things that are still around today. Chicago's culture, part of Chicago's culture was built there, right?
Yeah.
We can't deny that.
I mean, Daniel Burnham's, it was basically his like application to plan Chicago.
Yeah, right. It literally was his application.
Yeah.
But
of course.
But we got to talk about everything with the World's Fair, and everything includes the people.
Yep.
Now, let's jump straight to it. Black people weren't involved with this.
Right.
We weren't involved. We know. We seen some of the comments y'all talking about, man, the black people, we know. We know. Here we're going to talk about it. We're going to do that by talking about one Ida B. Wells. Now, Ida B. Wells, if you don't know who that is, I mean,
sorry?
Yeah, if you don't know who she is.
I'm sorry. If you drive through Chicago and you've never been like, I wonder who this is named after.
Why does it go Congress and then Ida B?
Wells.
Yeah.
Who is?
Why do people keep talking about her?
Know who well,
Yeah,
okay. If you don't know who Ida B. Wells is,
let me put you on.
yes,
That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. We're not going to assume you know everything. Especially, you know what? Well, I was about to say, if you're not from Chicago, you might not know her as much.
Here's the thing. I don't want people to feel guilty for not knowing pivotal pieces of history. I think you should. I think listening to a podcast like this, you are making the intentional choice to learn.
To learn, right.
And I commend that. And as someone that did not know Ida B. Wells when I moved here, and 15 years ago, I mean, here's the thing: we're not taught American history.
Yeah, right.
I learned European history.
That's expected outside of the country. Yeah.
And we don't know who's listening. People from other countries listen to this, so like, I think it's absolutely okay that you don't know certain things. And I appreciate that you're making the effort to learn them.
Right.
And I'm happy that you chose this as the way to learn them. This is a safe space, but after 5 years, you should go back and listen to our Ida B. Wells episode. I think it was a really fun one. We also have a few videos on our page about her. So
Ida B. Wells, born July 16th, 1862, the year before the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah.
She was born in Mississippi. 1878, she moved to Memphis, Tennessee. She became a teacher at the age of 16. At the age of 16, she taught her siblings and she taught other people, mainly her siblings and herself, really. She became an educator. Then she, her life went into journalism, right? Because she started to learn, like when you enlighten yourself about what's going on in the world, you want to do better.
Yeah.
You should want to do better.
Right.
You should want to do better. She did, right? It was an incident where, and this is cool. Shout out to the Hannah Holborn Gray Collection, Special Collections over at the University of Chicago. We absolutely love it there. Got our information from, some of our information from this, which is very, very vital. They got a lot of stuff there, so I want to give them the credit. But she took a train ride, right? And on the train ride, the conductor came by. She bought her ticket. She was sitting with the women. She bought a ticket. Conductor comes by and like, you got to get up out of here. She wasn't going. She wasn't going. She bit the dude.
She bit
him. Locked jaw. just got his ass. Right?
Wow.
So much so, he was like, oh, bro, I need backup. So he got like a few more people came. She bit them too. She was like,
I want to know what happened that led to her biting them.
He put a hand on her.
I'm sure he grabbed
her. She was
her.
like, boy, Mike Tyson her.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
bit the hell out of
yeah.
them.
I mean,
right?
if someone grabs you, it's the easiest thing to do is to immediately bite them so they let go.
Yeah, pit bull teeth too. I bet she was probably.
You don't know that. Why would you say that?
Because she said it. It was documented.
She said I had pit.
No, she didn't say pit bull teeth.
She didn't say that.
She did say she locked down. She said, that's what pit bulls do. They just anyway. So she got kicked off. She got kicked off the train. Right. However, 1884, she sued the rail company.
Wow.
Yeah, she sued the rail company. She won damages. She won.
I'm shocked she won.
Now, here's the thing. So was the Tennessee Supreme Court. They was like, hey, overturn this. They overturned it.
Did they?
Yeah, they overturned it.
Oh, okay.
They overturned
Yeah,
it.
there we go.
However,
that checks out.
Yeah. However, she was the first Black person to ever appeal at state court
Wow.
on the state court, Supreme Court level.
Wow.
That's crazy. Now, well, let me finish that. To appeal the state court after the repeal of the Civil Rights Act of 1875.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point they were like, bro, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
like what's going
And
on?
she was still young. I mean,
Yeah, she was
she's still
youngish.
fairly
You know what I
young.
mean? She was young.
20s.
Yeah, she was in her 2022 to be exact.
Yeah, it's pretty young.
yeah,
I was,
pretty young.
I was doing dumb stuff
Now, I
at
was
22.
super dumb.
Yeah.
Super dumb.
I was not appealing. quotes.
Celebrate, drink a Ciroc. Talking about I'm a Ciroc boy.
No.
Come on now.
You were not saying
I
that.
was saying that. I got pictures. Matter of fact, just pictures just popped.
That's so embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. Pictures just popped up on my the favorites. I mean the memories.
Memory.
Yeah. Just popped up. Your boy was cuddling a bottle of Ciroc.
No.
Cuddling. I was down bad. I was down bad.
Oh my God.
I was down bad, man. It was. I'm not proud.
You've really
had
just-
a gut. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, and I had plaid blue shorts on with a white. I was so down bad.
To match the bottle?
To
Or-
me, yeah, the bottle was
No.
blue because each one of the Ciroc things had.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, if
I've
y'all-
seen a Ciroc bottle.
If I can find a picture, I'll put it in the episode.
Oh my God.
So sad that your boy was
That's
down
so
there.
embarrassing.
It is. It really is. Back to this. Back to this because that is embarrassing. I don't know why I said that.
You couldn't have beat that information out of me.
Yeah. Somebody should have beat my ass. I'm sorry. Somebody. And look, this is not an explicit episode. Somebody. Ida B. Wood should have bit me. She should have lockjawed on me.
Yeah.
I think I was going through it. I had just got broken up with and some shit like that. So your boy I was throwing dope parties though. I was throwing some dope parties. Yeah. One of the parties was if you came with the McFlurry from or the drink from at the time they had it they had a drink from a McDonald's and it was like a drink but it was a mix. If you came to the party with that, I greeted you at the door with amaretto Ciroc and I poured it in your drink. We call it mixed swags because I got it from. I hate to say this. At the time,
disgusting.
we got it from Diddy. We got it from Diddy. He was calling the mix because Ciroc was his thing.
Oh, I know.
I spent way too long on this. Anyway, in the 1890s,
At least for 3 minutes.
no, it wasn't that long. It wasn't. What was it, y'all? 1890s. She started traveling across the country because she was on her journalism thing. Now she was trying to get her activist. This was the start. That was kind of like the start of her activism, right? She started being like, "Hey, look, we still dealing with racism out here, man. Like we 20 years removed from the Emancipation Proclamation. We in the construction area, Reconstruction era." And we still going through this stuff.
And
So
Jim Crow is alive and well.
yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
She traveled across the United States and Great Britain. So you should have known about it. I'm just playing. And Great Britain talking about lynchings and the violence and basically what lynchings were doing here in America.
Yeah.
And not just what they were doing, because we'll get to it a little bit later, but the economics behind what the lynchings were doing and killing our Black folks.
Right.
So she was like really putting this message out there, right? She's putting the message out there.
Which was very dangerous work.
Very dangerous. I mean, very dangerous work.
Like this is, we talk about the Pullman porters moving a newspaper on the train we were thinking that, they were being beat and, killed for that. Can you imagine being the person that's going around the country spreading the word about
what the
lynching
United States is doing.
and
that was their
Jim
law.
Crow and like that, all of that. Like
That's how
she
they
was,
move.
she was truly putting her life on the line for this message.
Just out of control. And now here's the thing. This was after the World's Fair. This is so August. Well, during the World's Fair, really. During the World's Fair. But August 4th, 1894, the Daily Inter-Ocean put together an article about her, right? Or what she was doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was called Against Lynching, Ida B. Wells and Her Recent Mission in England. Okay? And it outlined basically what I said, and again, we'll get to it. Now, all this prompted the United States to pass the anti-lynching law in the South. And
because now you have like global pressure.
Yeah, right. You got global pressure. And here's the thing.
Pressure coming from England is hilarious.
Ironic, if anything, you know.
Especially at that time, they were still. I mean,
they was like, boy, they were thinking about taking us back. They was like, well, we should go rob them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Go rob.
So here's what she found with the lynchings, or after the laws were passed. Lynchings dropped from 235 in 1892, so a year before the World's Fair, they still lynching people, to 107 in 1899. So, yeah.
I mean, that's a drastic drop, but the drop should be zero.
Should be zero. And before I get to the next point, I do want to, here we go. I found it right here. Y'all, I have, and we're going to get into this book, but this is called The Reason the Colored American is Not in the World's Fair. And in this, I'm going to get this binded.
Here's the correct title, The World's
Columbian Exposition.
And this is what we'll talk about what it is in a second.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. But in this, Ida B. Wells has a chapter where she talks about the lynch law.
Yep.
Let me tell you, this shit graphic.
I honestly couldn't get through the whole thing. It was very graphic.
Yeah. The fact that they break down the numbers.
Yeah.
Is just is out of control here, man. Like I don't even want to look at that just yet. But we're gonna get into that as part of what we're gonna be talking about. Where's Al Capone buried? Let's talk about it. All right, so right now we are in Hillside, just west of Chicago, and I found out where Al Capone is buried. And honestly, I don't know why I said it like that, because you could just search it and find it yourself. But we're here to show you, in case you've never come out here. He is buried right here. If you come right here, here's Al Capone's gravesite. And here's the really interesting thing here. People come from all over, and they put cigars and cigarettes, and there's a Halls thing right there. We were trying to figure out why the Halls is right there. You know, maybe it's because he had bad breath with all the cigars. I don't know. I don't want to put that on him, but that it's there too. But people come here and drop off all kinds of things. The interesting thing about this gravesite is it's not just his gravesite. It is literally his entire family is buried here. His mom is buried right to his left. His dad is buried further to his left. Then I'm sure he's got brothers, family, uncles, and all that kind of stuff, all buried here, right by Al Capone.
I do have a quote that kind of summarizes the experience of Black Americans at the World's Fair. If you don't mind, I just want to share it real quick. It said, at the World's Fair, African Americans stood as a people without a nation at a gathering of nations.
And that's a perfect start. Okay, that's a perfect start to where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the pamphlet that was created by four people.
Mm-hmm.
Created by four people. It's called The Reason Why the Colored American is Not in the World's Columbian Exposition. Now, this is a pamphlet outlining why we should, why we aren't, and the ramifications of not having Black representation. Right. Just mind you, this is 1893.
Yep.
Okay, this is 1893. We talking like this, and we still talking about it right now. The four people that are co-author of this pamphlet are Ida B. Wells, Ferdinand L. Barnett, her husband, I. Garland Penn, who was very interesting. He was a journalist, an educator, and a lay officer of the Methodist Episcopal Church.
Yep.
Yeah, Episcopal Church all across, especially the South, right? And then none other than Frederick Douglass, part of the Haitian government, and he was obviously an orator, abolitionist, and to argue, probably one of the greatest civil rights activists of the 19th century.
I do want to plug Garland Penn's 1891 book that he published. It's called Afro-American Press and Its Editors, and it's actually he talks about African-American newspapers and magazines published between 1827 and 1891, and it talks about journalism and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a really interesting one. I kind of want to do a deep dive into it because he talks about like thinking of Black journalism in that time period had to be really interesting.
Yeah. So this book, and there's this pamphlet.
Well, it's a pamphlet. People received it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it because like the setup for this pamphlet is crazy, right? This, like I said, it outlines everything we talked about, right? It's on the front of it says copies sent to any address on receipt of 3 cents for postage. So that means she said you paid 3 cents stamps for 3 cents at the time, right? That's wild. But it came from Ida B. Wells at 128 South Clark Street.
Oh wow,
very interesting there. Which is right there in the Loop, right across from Sterling Food Hall now, and in that little area. But this pamphlet starts out real strong, right? They talk about some graphic stuff. And lynch law is just one thing that they talk about in there, right? They talk about, Frederick Douglass talks about, he kick off the book. He kick it off, right? And just start talking his stuff, right? But how did we get here? This was made, if I'm reading this correctly, it was made like in early 1893, in preparation to be given out at the World's Fair.
Correct.
Here's the thing. The World's Fair didn't have no Black people there, except for one that worked on the grounds, and 3 that were clerical people.
Yeah.
They outline how Black people have educated themselves after, the World's Fair, the Emancipation Proclamation.
Which were only 3 decades from that.
And how we bettered ourselves and how we're qualified, right? How we are qualified to be in these positions. There's appeals in this book that they say, hey, look, we've tried to appeal to the people that are working the World's Fair. We wanted they approached the National Board of Directors, right? And say, hey, why don't we have a separate exhibition for this, for Black folks? Just so we can talk about the contributions as well as the accomplishments of the United States that touts this is for all the people. And we play perhaps the biggest role in the United States. And so board said no.
Even the women's building, which very explicitly excluded Black women, there was, because they were approached, they were said, okay, include us in this one. Black women have had immense contributions to the history of women. And mind you, women at this point had no rights to vote. Like women are still fighting for their own right to exist. And they are also being exclusionary of Black women in a very explicit way.
Now, to that point, y'all, how the Lady Board got into it, got in the mix with this, right? And give you some context. We talked about the Lady Board of Managers, right? Lady Board of Managers, obviously the Chicago chapter had Bertha Palmer. Now, disclaimer, y'all, because we don't know this for sure. We can't say that it was Bertha Palmer.
Yeah.
We can't just say that, right? Because it was all over the United States. Every state
state.
had a representation.
Correct.
So I put that disclaimer out there for what I'm about to say now. The board wanted to, and it doesn't say in here who wanted to do it. They saw the paperwork and all the appeals come through, and it just says that, hey, they were able to get far with it because they were listening.
Mm-hmm.
Word for word, hands tied.
Right.
Hands were tied like, hey, y'all, there's nothing we could do.
It wasn't their decision.
It wasn't. And it wasn't. And so they were like, hey, we hear you, but ain't nothing we could do about it, right? There's nothing we could do about this. Even prior to that, right? Prior to that, there were only 3 clerical workers. And black folks are trying to make our way in at any rate.
Yeah.
Here's the 3 clerical workers. Mr. J.E. Johnson, Mrs. A.M. Curtis, and Miss Fannie B. Williams.
Mm.
Now, all of them, the only appointee was the first one, J.E. Johnson. He was appointed, right, as clerical worker. So they were like, yo, we can pass the paperwork through the brother.
Right.
The brother gonna help us out. He left his position. Next person took over. Same thing happened to her. Fannie took over. Now, at this point, they saw Fannie was a great representation. We talked about her. Go back to the women's episode. Listen to who she was. She was very good at her job and as a person, right, doing what she did. They were like, hey, look, we got Fannie. What more can you ask for? And I'm paraphrasing, but here it is, page 74 of the pamphlet. They basically said, look, you don't take Fannie. What's going on? So there was a resolution adopted, okay? They took resolution, right? They took some of the resolution. The resolution that the director general be requested to lay before the local directory the expediency. God, man, that rolled off the tongue. I ain't never seen that word before. You don't want to hear this, okay?
No, I'm listening.
You had deadpan. What's going on? Of having the Department of Publicity and Promotion employ a colored man and a colored woman to promote the interest of the World's Columbian Exposition throughout the United States.
Mm.
Long story short, they said,
no,
nah, we can't do nothing about that. It's nothing we could do. They made floats, $90,000 made in floats that were to be used on opening day.
Yeah.
Which the floats were discarded before they finished and never used at all. Entire cost being absolute nothing. Nothing.
That's wild. I will say that because some people are going to say, well, there were Black people there.
Mm-hmm.
And the few exhibits that did include Black people were so much around social Darwinism, which, if you're not familiar with social Darwinism, it takes the biological theories of evolution and uses them in a way to perpetuate racism and kind of confirm that people that are non-white are inferior because they look a certain way, because of the color of their skin, because of it's horrendous theories that pretend like they're using science, but it's really just racism coded in a cloak. And so if you remember when we talked about the Midway Plaisance, we talked about how a lot of what was shown there were the lesser than white people and also the non-white people. Like they had, and I know that you're probably going to talk about it in a little bit, but a lot of where the Frederick Douglass, Ida B. Wells work took place was at the Haitian Pavilion, and the only place that was brought reflective of West Africa was Liberia. The Liberian government had sent some representation, which, if you don't know the history of Liberia, I encourage you to look that up because it is vile, and horrendous. But they also had to sit through a lot of these conversations about where it was like Confederate people that were in support of the Confederacy, and like people that were imperialists that sat around and talked about colonizing Africa and sending Black Americans back to Africa, and they talked about the lack of need of constitutional rights for Black Americans, and the status of the future of Liberia, and like all, and you had people like Ida B. Wells and Frederick Douglass sitting there, or other Black Americans that were kind of in this fight, sitting there and having to listen to this insanely racist rhetoric while they were trying to fight for Black Americans just showing a little bit of their kind of accomplishments.
Yeah, and which is wild. And you said it. The only person in this regard, the only Black American, right, that was represented at the Columbian Exposition was Frederick Douglass.
Yeah,
and the only reason he was represented was because the Haitian government was like, we got to choose somebody. We gonna choose you to represent. Here's the last page of the pamphlet, and it's just an excerpt from it. That it remain for the Republic of Haiti, Haiti spelled Hayti, to give the only acceptable representation enjoyed by us in the fair. That republic chose Frederick Douglass to represent it as commissioner, through which courtesy the colored American received from a foreign power the place denied to him at home. They basically said, we giving him a position he should have had here in the United States.
Yeah.
And here it is. Now, let's bring it back to this pamphlet in Ida B. Wells. Mm-hmm. Ida B. Wells was kind of the steward of this pamphlet. Frederick Douglass invited her in to have a space at the Haitian booth just to be there.
It was the pavilion, the building.
Pavilion, to be there to pass out this pamphlet. She hawked this bad boy, was just giving it out. Anybody that came through, here, take this pamphlet. Read up. Here's why we not represented at this current World's Columbian Exposition.
Yep.
Now, this is going on, right? While this is going on, what day is this going on? Because like now we lost in translation here. Because like we've talked a lot about racism this episode. We get it. You know, that's to tell the story. There's more. There's more to it.
Yeah.
A resolution that you never hear, something you never hear about when you talk about the World's Fair 1893. They gave us a day. They gave Black people a day. It was called Negro Day. This was the day Ida B. Wells was like, I ain't participating in that bull junk. I'm just gonna pass out these pamphlets. It was August 25th, 1893. Almost at the end of this thing. Yep. It only ended 2 months later.
Right.
We only had 3 months of doing this, right? Can you believe that it was Negro Day? And it just was, they went to the board and was like, hey, we gonna give you this day. Ida B. Wells and Frederick Douglass was like, man, bro, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Because what did that even entail?
Right. What you didn't have boots, you didn't have nothing there. You just parading around, like you said, the other races that were dark skinned.
You spent months perpetuating the thought that Black Americans were less than, not worthy of being showcased in their accomplishments, and showing any population that kind of looked different or was different as quote unquote savage.
Yeah.
That was the word that was used. It was, and a lot of these articles of the time that describe, the Tribune had an article talking about these savage villages that were there. I mean, it was, and Frederick Douglass protested a specific exhibit, which is it was a village that was, again, West African, and it just depicts people as barbarians. And like the newspapers published like pictures of white women looking shocked as these like men walked out in specific outfits that they called as like, it was so unfortunate that they could not get clothes. Sorry?
Yeah. The whole thing, when it came to the
vile.
In here, I didn't write the page number down, but in here, basically, in this section that I just quoted the piece from was by Ferdinand Barnett, her husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wrote the last chapter, and it was called what was it called? It was called The Reason Why.
Mm-hmm.
It was called The Reason Why. In there, he basically said it's very much so a white city.
Yeah. In every sense of the word.
One more thing. One more thing. Just here's the page that talks about the August 25th, right? In consideration of the colored proof character of the exposition, management, it was the refinement of irony to set aside August 25th to be observed as Colored People's Day, so not Negro Day, because this is Colored People Day. In this wonderful hive of national industry, representing an outlay of $30 million and numbering its employees by the thousands, only 2 colored persons could be found whose occupations were of higher grade than that of janitor, laborer, porter. These 2 only clerkships. It goes on, right? It goes on. That, like, as I'm reading it again, I'm chuckling because it's like the stuff that black people had to write that. That's crazy. I got to read that. Imagine writing that. You know what I mean? Imagine writing what is going on, and all I'm doing is reading it back. It's just crazy, man. I will say special thank you to again the Hannah Holborn Gray Special Collections over at the University of Chicago. One last interesting piece about this pamphlet. I don't know if it came with this. Obviously, it didn't come with this, but they included it in the downloadable PDF, which I think you should leak in the show notes.
I will leak it.
This
you do have to make an account to access it, but it's free.
Yeah, right. You can do that. You got time. This is a loan receipt from the to the Chicago Historical Society, Chicago History Museum, and shows, I hereby acknowledge that I have examined the shipment of materials lent to the Chicago Historical Society in the agreement executed under date July 1st, 1976, and that the materials listed below have been returned. So this is
like someone borrowed it?
Yeah, the Chicago Historical Society.
What did they borrow?
They borrowed this, the pamphlet.
The original pamphlet.
But
you scared the dog.
But it's not the fact that they got it. It's who it's from.
Who?
Alfreda M. Barnett Duster.
Oh.
Ida B. Wells' youngest daughter.
Wow.
Yes. She loaned it out, one of her last few things before she passed away. She passed away in 1983.
Wow.
So, yeah, she loaned it to him. So she had this.
1983?
Yeah, year before I was born. 42 years ago.
I was going to 90 years after her mom was doing this work.
Ain't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Ain't that crazy?
Wow.
Like that's
wow.
90 years later, she did that.
I will say, as you listen to this and as you reflect about how people are represented in spaces, especially when we're coming up on a pretty remarkable anniversary for this country. It's America 250, right? Mm-hmm. And in just a week or so, you're going to be celebrating. And I think I don't want you to lose hope in this country, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to lose hope. I want us to be hopeful that there's a better future, that things will get better. And this is a space for you to do that. I want people to feel hopeful. But I think it's really important that when we listen to this history and we reflect on it, that we don't forget these stories, it's important to realize that this was happening 130 years ago, and it's still happening in some circles today. Maybe we're not learning about social Darwinism explicitly, but there are people that hold firm beliefs that perpetuate these racist ideals. And there are rooms where Black and brown people are not represented. And there's spaces that are intentionally exclusionary. And so whenever you're celebrating, whenever you're learning, whenever you're talking to your kids, whenever you're talking to your family, it is a hard conversation, but it doesn't have to be. I think I think a lot of people hold some guilt, and so it kind of stops them from having these conversations. But step one is to recognize your role and your privilege, and kind of the what role do you want to play in the history of this country. And it starts in your local community. It starts with your family. It starts with the people around you. And I want you to feel hopeful. I want you to feel, that you can, even if it's changing the perspective, entering a room and changing your perspective about how you see certain things. If you go to a museum and you see who's being represented there, the accomplishments of what people are being spoken about, and how, we're all online. We all see the vile things that are being said. And when you log off, what are you taking away from that? So this is not too far away from where we are right now. This is not that far back in history, and unfortunately, we are inching closer to it. And that the you don't have to be the next Ida B. Wells, but you can be the clerk worker that wanted to make a difference. You can be literally the smallest part that you want to play to make sure we don't plummet into oblivion.
Yeah.
So don't lose hope, and make sure you invest in your community and the people around you, and you continue to learn, because when you're educated, it's harder for them to silence you. And it's easier when you know the truth.
All right. Hey, so check it out, y'all. We are on the Sarah's note here. There is America 250 happening right now, which is the only reason I'm bringing it up. The only reason I'm bringing up the celebrations happening at the what is it? The mall, the mall over there, the DC. It's very similar. It's taking vibes from the 1893 World's Fair.
It's the Midway Place on.
Yeah,
it's trying to be.
It's taking vibes from there. So just that's just a bit of history we bring up. It's pretty fun. But I do want to say this. We're wrapping up the World's Fair, right? This is it. I would like to say, even hearing this, right? Would I have been there? Probably not. Well, I probably wouldn't have been there, right? However, we look back in the past, not to like say, hey, look, let's sweep this under the rug, because we got to do better, right? You got no better to do better. We got a lot of fun things out of the World's Fair, right? That everybody loves, black, white, brown, everybody. We all enjoy these things that we have, right? From the World's Fair. So it's fun to talk about. It's fun in a sense to learn more about how things came to be, and what, whether good or bad, because we do need this history to get better, right? We need the history to ultimately just do better. So we appreciate you listening to this, 5-6 part.
This is a longer one.
It was long, but it was necessary, because I know this is a joy of yours. You always want to talk about it.
And I think it's also like important to approach things with a bit of nuance.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me when people are like, this is absolutely wrong and this is absolutely right, when there's so many layers to. I'm not talking specifically about the World's Fair, but in general, I think some things aren't as. I just think I want people to have more nuance when they're dissecting things.
Yeah.
Just because we criticize the World's Fair and we talk about these racist practices that were happening there, doesn't mean that you don't have to, or you can't appreciate the things that took place there.
Yeah.
This is a country that's riddled with a dark history that we can't just not talk about.
Yeah, right. I think,
and like, it is still happening. It is still our reality.
Yeah, and to that point, we were at the Obama Presidential Center, and I think, the residents who live in that area have a right to have an opinion, right?
Of course,
you have a right to have an opinion. It's the people that's around that don't really all
or
come
have
to
never
the area,
been.
Never been. Y'all got to shut y'all mouth up. You know what I mean? Like, and because that's the thing. You're doing it without a perspective,
Yes.
right? I would say educate yourself before you say anything.
I don't think anyone that listens to our podcast doesn't think that way.
Right. Yeah.
I think
not y'all.
I'm talking about like unlimited amount of comments that we got on our socials that we had to delete, that we had to block because it was getting
treacherous,
horrifying.
It's crazy.
It was actually horrible. It was scary.
Yeah, man. Look, these punks. Here's the thing. It ain't scary to me, man. You know why it's not scary?
It's scary that there are people out there that are comfortable to say these things out loud.
You know, those are people that's not going to do nothing in real life. You know what I mean? Like, granted, there's people that move in that crazy in real life, but those are keyboard warriors. Those are people that are just some punks in real life. But I'm glad that we did the World's Fair, because now I feel like I got like a way more knowledge. Matter of fact, I'm glad that we did the World's Fair back to back with the Playing in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, we could have done the World's Fair first, but I think it was better that we did the Playing in Chicago, because you got some context as to why he did what he did. And that's you know, and before that we talked about the Women's History Month.
Yeah.
And we talked about all these things played a factor in the World's Fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all three of them connect. So I kind of like this the series that we had. I don't know what y'all feel. If y'all like the series, we got a lot of good feedback on the series.
We did.
I think I like them. But now, you know, we talked about at the beginning of the show, we get to kind of branch out.
So our next series is Oak Park and Beyond.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited about. We've already started prepping and recording that. So I'm so excited for you to experience that one. I think it's gonna be really great.
It's already great.
Yeah.
We already filmed one episode, so we know that one's good. I can't wait. I can't wait to just learn. Honestly, I just can't wait to learn about things.
Yeah.
Like that's just
it. I want to see different archives in different places. It's just so cool.
Yeah. How does this tie to Chicago? What's going on?
Exactly. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone you love. It is the best way to support us. And if you don't forget to sign up for the Substack, it is on our website. It's in the show notes. It's in all those good places. And if there's any topic that you want to talk about or learn about, you can always go to our website and fill out a little form. Tell us what you want to learn about, and we'll do our best to kind of touch on it. But until then, we'll see you next time. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope you loved it.
And if you could, please follow us on social media at 77 Flavors Shy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
If you have any ideas or deep dives that you'd love us to do, please contact us at media@77flavorsshy. That's the number 77 flavors and shy for Chicago.com.
If you like visuals, please subscribe and follow and watch us on our YouTube channel at the same thing, 77 Flavors Shy, or search 77 Flavors of Chicago.
If you would like to support us monetarily, go ahead and click that Buzzsprout link in the description of this episode.
And as always, we gonna see you next week. Peace.